Hello and welcome to another episode of Diet Culture Can Fork Off. I'm Becky and I help women over 30 break diet culture for good. And that's through my one-to-one empower coaching or my Misfit group coaching. Misfit group coaching? Does that sound right? Anyway, I am right, okay, this is how this episode might go. Sounds like I've got a bit of a brain fog going on. There we go. But it's okay. So, the episode I'm talking about today, and what I'm talking about today on this episode, that'll make more sense, is about why the 90s never left, why diet culture keeps coming back for you, especially now if you're in perimenopause. And I know, like, you did the work all those years ago. Maybe you've been doing that work more recently. You've made peace with your body. You've stopped weighing yourself. You stopped Sunday scaring yourself into a Monday diet. You thought you were absolutely done with this. And then you hit your 40s, like myself, and all of a sudden, the skinny trend is coming back. The noise, and then you get the spirals, like the watch what you eat voice is that you silenced is starting to come back. And honestly, like, it's not you regressing at all. It's not you being weak or being back at square one. There's a reason this is happening right now at this exact age. And I really want to talk about it with you today. Because if this is you, if this is how you're feeling right now, I promise you, you're not. Like, my DMs are full of women saying this exact same thing. So I really want to talk about like my past. I know I've talked about it before, but I grew up in the 90s and noughties. I grew up in that diet culture. I was surrounded by the skinny trend everywhere. Like, it literally was the wallpaper of our childhoods, wasn't it? Magazines, media, comments from maybe your mum's friend, even your mum, I don't know, mum's friends, aunties, grandmothers. There was the films, fat shaming, constantly going on. The media, comparing celebrities' bodies, seeing how much they weighed. You know, it was like literally everywhere. Journalists, like how they interviewed female celebrities, especially like my mind always goes to like Britney Spears and things like that, how she was interviewed compared to other compared to like men of that time is completely inappropriate a lot of the time. And it was this kind of, it does tie into that objectification that I've talked about a lot before. That's where it all comes from, that sexualization, the objectification of women's bodies. We grew up with that nothing tastes as good as skinny feels era, the diets you tried, what it like, you know, everything's there. Yeah, it's just, yeah, when you look back, you're like, God, no wonder so many women have struggled with their body image or the this kind of chasing this thin ideal. And as you know, I've talked about this before, when you're chasing that thin ideal, you're more likely to be stuck in diet cycles. The research shows that. It shows that you're more likely to have negative body image. It does cause things like depression, anxiety around body image. It takes away your cognitive function because you're overwhelmed by thinking of it every single waking moment. Like, we didn't just watch diet culture happen, we're literally raised on it. Like, and it's in the back of our minds, like, and nobody really tells you that, you know, it just goes away because, you know, it doesn't just go away because you've done the healing work. It just goes quiet, and it can wait for a vulnerable moment, and then it gets loud again. And that vulnerable moment for a lot of us, a lot of you, is right now. So two things are happening to you at the same time, and that's not a coincidence in my mind, and it does feel unbearable. Thing one is your body is actually changing. It's not in your head. You're actually changing. On average, women can gain around half a kilo a year through perimenopause if they're not on HRT. That's real, that's psychological, hormone driven change, not a failure of willpower, and body dissatisfaction from that change is directly linked to disordered eating patterns, like creeping back in. Now, I would obviously say that I talked about HRT there, but keeping up a healthy, balanced lifestyle as well, making sure your weight training is also going to help with that kind of keeping and maintaining any kind of weight gain. So the second thing as well is the culture, the culture picked this exact moment to bring the ultra thin back. I know there's other reasons I believe as well, like women questioning rights and stuff, but for us who have been around this cycle when we were already at a vulnerable stage in our teen years, and this feels like it's coming back just as we're hitting this stage of life as well. Like heroin chic aesthetics, that like gives that quite quiet luxury bodies, doesn't it? The whole 90s throwback thin ideal, like it's resurfacing right when your body is doing something completely different to what culture, what the culture is currently worshipping, and this diet culture coming back again. And that's not bad luck. That's diet culture doing what it always seems to do, and that's show up exactly when you're feeling this, well, the hardest point where you're feeling to fight it off. Like you're already struggling, you're already feeling like trying to work out what your body's doing, feeling a bit lost, and it's like wham, there we go, let's throw the skinny trend back in on you just to make it a little bit harder for you. Now I want to give you some research here, because I think when you understand why like this feels so much bigger than it should do, it can take some of the shame out of it, because I always like to dive into the why in the research. So research now think perimenopause works like a second puberty for body image and eating struggles, like a genuine window of vulnerability driven by the same kind of hormonal upheaval you went through as a teenager. One recent study found body image dissatisfaction is a core feature of disordered eating in midlife women, just like it is in teenagers and young adults. The pattern doesn't change, but the timing absolutely brings it back around. And it's not niche. Depending on how you measure it, close to a third of women in this age group report disordered patterns like obsessive calorie counting or dissatisfaction with their eating, even if they'd never been formally diagnosed with an eating disorder. Then there's the mood piece as well, which I think explains the why does this feel so much worse than it should kind of feeling. As estrogen drops in perimenopause, serotonin drops with it, which is why so many of us get hit with anxiety and irritability. We've never kind of experienced this kind of heightened anxiety before. Add that to like the broken sleep on top of that, and your brain is literally running with less capacity to regulate emotion and cope with that change. So it's not that you've gone backwards, it's that you're dealing with a body that's changing, a brain that's really under-resourced from poor sleep, hormonal shifts, and a culture that's just picked this exact moment, this exact window to turn up the volume on being thin again. So of course anyone would wobble under that. This is the bit I really care about the most though, because knowing why isn't enough. You need somewhere to put it. So first of all, name it before you spiral on it. When the watch what you're eating voice shows up again, or the comparison, or whatever it may be, when it's getting loud, even if it's just in your head, tell yourself like, this is the old script showing up because I'm tired and my hormones are doing something, not because it's actually something that's wrong with my body. Like being able to name it like that just takes the power down a notch, okay? So like I said, don't have to say this out loud, say it in your head. Just telling yourself it's the old script. It's showing up because you're tired, because you've had a lack of sleep, because it's your hormones. Like they're doing something today, not because you actually believe there's something wrong with your body. Number two, I feel, is about separating the hormone dip from the diet culture noise. So not every wobble is body image. Some of it is generally just exhaustion or mood dysregulation. It's that's talking. So ask yourself, am I tired or am I actually spiraling on my body? Like, because they need completely different responses. And then three, go back to the unfinished business. So if this is hitting you really hard, it usually means there was a piece of the body image work or the diet culture narrative that wasn't quite managed, not fully resolved yet. And that's not a failure at all. That just means that this is useful information on where to focus now. So have a think about, okay, what is it exactly showing up for me right now? What is it that I haven't quite fully healed or fully managed that I thought I had? And that's where I can put my focus. Protect your inputs. So if the ultra thin content is back in your feed, this is the moment to be ruthless about who you follow. You did not come this far to hand the algorithm your progress, okay? That does not control you. You can control the algorithm. You can absolutely do that now on social media. You can go on Instagram and you can set your preferences and set what you want to see and what you don't want to see. So curate your feed to things that make you feel good, things that bring you joy, people that give you joy, people that are in similar bodies to you, so you can see how fantastic they are, rather than comparing yourself to this new skinny trend that's coming back. Even if it means putting people on, you can silent people without having to unfollow them. So if you have got like friends and stuff at the moment that you are finding it triggering, like, it's okay, and it's okay to protect your own peace. Just put them on silent right now. It's okay. You don't have to unfollow people. You can silence them, so you don't have to see it if it is triggering for you. While you work out why it's triggering for you, and what you need to focus on. So if you're in this right now, if you thought that you'd made peace with this and you are wobbling again, I promise you are not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're not back at zero either. You're just a woman whose body is changing. And you may feel lost right now because we step into different chapters and different eras of our lives. Maybe your kids have left home. Maybe things have changed at work. Your responsibilities are changing. You're stepping into a completely different era of your life and you feel lost. That is okay. Okay? But it doesn't mean you're back at zero. Like I said, you're a woman whose body is changing. Your brain is just under resourced and under pressure at the moment. And at the moment, this culture around dieting and the ultra thin has turned up the volume. And that is not a failure. And it's not a personal failure from you. It's just the perfect storm for diet culture, isn't it? To rear its ugly little head. But this is the work I do inside Empower. To really work through the identity, especially if you're feeling lost, to work through the values that you have, to unpack diet culture, to really tell that inner critic to fuck off as well. We really need to dive into that deep part of it. And that's actually working through the deep-rooted issues. And that's what I do. I show up, give you the tools, give you actual resources to be able to do on a day-to-day, on a weekly basis, if and when you need them, and if, I guess, as well. My DMs are open right now. I am taking on a few people during the summer, and spots are open for if you're like, right, I need to do this, but summer's hectic, I really want to start in September. I'm taking deposits for the few spaces I have open for September if you wish to do so. Do not miss out on this, because I'm here for you. Let's break diet culture for good. Let's get you healthy. Let's get you strong. Let's feeling like a badass independent woman, especially one that ages into that, because that's what I'm fucking doing. And you can join me. So just reach out. All the links are below the show notes.